we go. You kind of take your finger in your hand and make sure you got all the edges down nice and tight. So we're going to come attack these two rivets right here. Go ahead and take your squeegee, and you don't want to work it in so close that you start to get wrinkles, but kind of get it started. Maybe shrink that bubble down just a little bit, make it a little smaller. And there we go. And then I'm going to take a heat gun. You can use a hair dryer if you don't have a heat gun. You can even use a butane torch. Just be really careful with the torch. Let me get it heated up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it until I see all the wrinkles go away. I don't want it to stretch, I don't want it to melt, I just want it to relax a little bit. So I'm going to heat it up a little. There they go. Leave it alone. I'm going to heat this one up. Now what you don't want to do is come in and start working on that right away, because then you're going to stretch it and create a bunch of wrinkles. Let it cool for a second, and now that it's cooled, I mean, it don't take very long, and it's nice and even, I can go ahead and work on this particular rivet. Just kind of work a circle, keep forming that bubble around that rivet if you need to. We can poke a hole in it and let that air out here in a second. Same thing here. Now this one's nice and cool. We're going to just slowly work it around as best we can. Let's see, I might leave that. I'm going to go ahead and poke a hole. If you have a poker, you can poke it, or you can just use the end of a razor. Just something to put a little tiny hole in there. I'm going to poke a couple on that one. I'll go ahead and poke a couple on this one, like so. I'm going to go ahead and heat it one more time. Let it relax. Let it relax. You can see I almost got that one too hot. There's a little bubble in there. And then we can come back. Still a little hot. There we go. Now you can come back and work the last of that air out of there. Work it towards your little poke holes and try to get all that air squished out of there. Don't worry about little tiny bubbles. When you leave this out in the sun for a couple days, any of those little tiny bubbles, oh, I don't know, smaller than 1/8 of an inch, will go away. If you give it 2 or 3 days in the sun, those little bubbles will just work themselves out. Just take your time, there's no hurry, it's not a race. I'm going to get a little wrinkle on that backside, but that's not too bad, considering where that rivet fell. Spin it around. That looks pretty good. I want to come over here on this C where I poked it a little bit. You can use my knife and kind of peel it up, straighten it back out, like so. And then I can use my squeegee, flatten her back out. Looks like I got a little corner right there that I need to fold. Fold under. Try as hard as you can not to touch the glue. Again, the oils in your hands are really bad for it. So use your knife or your poker as much as you can to work on little things like that where you got to lift or straighten something out. Yeah, that's pretty good. So then the last piece on here is this little smoke deal that we've got. And what I've done on it is I went ahead and laid it on the table with a ruler, and I trimmed it even on this side and even on this side, just so it'd be easier to see. And on this one, I'm going to go ahead and peel a little bit of this right hand side off, just a few inches, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the backing off of that side. And so I'm going to kind of hold this where this doesn't touch the trailer and lay it up here, and I've got my layout right here that I can kind of look at and get it nice and straight. Make sure my spacing's about like the layout looks. Try to get it nice and straight, and then hold it. Then you can actually come over and use that as your hinge. A lot of times your fingers are your very best squeegee, so don't be afraid to use your fingers to push this stuff down. And then we're going to lay it pretty much the same way, only peel half the backing off. Go ahead and lay your graphic. Oh, we hit a rivet, so we got another rivet there. No big deal. I'm going to pretend like it's not even there. I'm going to leave that and create my bubble all the way around it. So I'm just going to keep laying my graphic like this. Fixing up laying over them. Go through, look, see if you have any great big bubbles. If you do have a bubble, what you want to do is just poke on the one side of it and then work back towards your poke hole and try to push all the air out of it. But honestly, all that little tiny stuff, there's a couple little ones there, there's a couple little ones there. Those are so small, a couple hours in the sun, that'll all be gone, especially on the black trailer. So there you have it. She's nice and laid out. If you had another layer to put on top, you'd lay it exactly the same as we did this one. You want to clean between each layer with just a simple Windex, so wipe it down, tape it on there, position it. Like if you had a red letter to go on top, just position it in there nice and straight, hinge it, and lay it just exactly the same way, as many layers as you have. Temperature is a really important thing. You really want these room temperature, like 60 to 80 degrees. The manufacturer says to always keep it above 40. The same can be said on the high end, we found too. If it gets too hot, it makes it really hard. If the graphic even comes close, it sticks. So if it's really cold outside like it is here in Colorado in the winter time, or if it's really hot, you live in a place that's 90, 100 degrees, pull it inside, get it room temperature, and it's going to help your install a lot. And as always, if you have questions, please feel free to call or email us. We're happy to help you as much as we can. And thanks for your business. We really appreciate it. For now, I'm Ryan with the Sign Guys. We'll catch you next time.